Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking? How you doing? Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Tonight I'm going to tell you all about the attempted assassination of Andrew Jackson, which you probably didn't hear about. And let me tell you something, you probably don't want to try to assassinate Andrew Jackson. We'll get to all that. First, please, though, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. Please, all those things, they don't cost you a penny. Hit that like button. It just takes a click. We'll love you forever. Doesn't cost you a farthing. We do have super chats. We do have memberships. We love it when you do that because, of course, it helps us pay the bills around here. Those people who do donate to the show will get, yes, the most coveted of all honors here on the Tom Gulley Show, the point. There it is, the point. And, of course, if you look at the scroll at the bottom of the screen, that'll tell you how to turn on your gifted memberships. Please do that because generous people here donate memberships all the time, and then you will have access to that exclusive members-only content that I'm too scared to put on the internet without it being members-only. How about that? Dupa says, and thank you for being here, Dupa Dupa Doo. Good sandwich is pronounced sandwich. I agree 100%. Scott LaRock would like to know, am I really lucky in love, though? I would say so. Look at this face. Anything at all would be luck of the highest order. I'm getting the fist bump from Dupa Dupa Doo. And then Cobra Kai. We haven't done that in a while. And it is a thing. Cobra Kai. We're making that a thing. Yeah. It's a thing now. Well, you know what's not a thing? The number of viewers we've gotten on our last 3 shows. Paul McCartney, the Paul is Dead thing, I thought that would skyrocket. No. Overrated, underrated, Friday night. Look, it was Valentine's Day, overrated, underrated. As hard as I try, just nobody likes it. And then, last night, The Love Boat. The Love Boat, for crying out loud. I thought, hey, The Love Boat. Who didn't love The Love Boat? It was top 20 for 8 years. It was top 10 several of those years. Just not... maybe Andrew Jackson will bring us the ratings bonanza that we've been looking for. The Wolf has joined us. I spoke to the Wolf just minutes before the show began. We had a wonderful talk about the perils of airline travel and sitting next to celebrities in first class. We did. That's what we talked about. And people getting thrown off buildings. It's always a varied conversation with the Wolf. We might as well get into tonight's topic so I can... Oh, well, by the way, people saying hi. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet. It is verified by independent sources. We might as well get into tonight's topic, which is the failed assassination attempt. One of them. There's more than one. This is the first one. This is actually the first presidential assassination attempt that we know of, and it was an attempt on the life of this man right here, Andrew Jackson, known as Old Hickory. Now, before I get into the sort of the nitty-gritty about this, I should tell you that probably you don't want to try and assassinate Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson, not only was he president, he was a very successful general and had quite a storied career in war during his time. By the way, Chef is in the house. I was glad to see the Chef. And how about that, Andy? What up? Howdy, Tom. Was he a vampire? He was not, to my knowledge, a vampire. Although he had a very storied history in war and many other things. So before you get the idea, hey, I'd like to assassinate this guy, you should know that as a boy, that's him as a boy. He and his brother were running messages against the British. And so they were taken as sort of prisoners And one of the British officers asked him to do something, and he said, "No, I'm not doing that." And the British officer struck him with a sword, which severely cut him open on the hand and on the head. So he was not backing down as a boy. And that's just as a boy. I won't get into all of the other war stuff he did. But he was known as Old Hickory. And it was at a time when many times our generals, people that were successful in war, got to be president. He was one of those guys. And not to be trifled with. No, you did not. No trifling. No trifling. There he is. He was known as the brave boy of the Waxhaws. Or Waxhaws. I don't know. I didn't live back then. I'm not God. How am I supposed to know? And now we bring you to a gentleman who we will call Richard Lawrence. Not Dick, but Richard. And we call him that because that was his name. He was an English-born American. By the way, when he was in America, it was not uncommon to be English-born. Many people from England came over and became Americans. That was not uncommon. In fact, many of our first presidents, I forget the first American in the United States born, it might have been Andrew Jackson, were English-born. I think Andrew Jackson was born here. I don't know. I'm not God. So he was a house painter, and as we all know, house painters not with the greatest of reputations in the world. He was born in England around 1800. His family came over to the U.S. when he was 12, and they hung out, settled, were in Virginia near Washington, D.C. His early years and his childhood were, he's a pretty normal guy. He was a pretty everyday, relative guy. People, acquaintances, relatives, well-wishers, referred to him as a relatively fine young boy who was reserved in his manner, but industrious and of good moral habits. And then he became a house painter because, unlike today, where you can not really be anything positive, you can paint houses. Back then, you had to have good moral habits. Historians have speculated, and this is just speculation. This is just speculation. And I think you can look at this photo here of a drawing that maybe this is true. They think that his exposure to the toxic chemicals which were used in paint in the 1800s, including everybody's favorite paint additive, lead, antimony, chromates, sulfides, and barium, those chemicals may have contributed to his mental illness, which we'll learn about later. And that started to sort of come to the fore when he was in his 30s. He started acting a little loopy. It was a little loopy. Well, by loopy, I mean disassociative behavior and violent tendencies toward his siblings. Basically, dissociative behavior is disruptions or fragmentation of normal consciousness, memory, identity, emotion, perception, motor control, behavior. A lot of people have called this bat guano crazy. A lot of people. Not, he's just not to cast aspersions on mental illness, but this guy, come on. So by November of 1832, his behavior went off the charts. He told his family he was returning to England, and he leaves Washington, D.C. in that area. He comes back a month later telling him, I decided not to do that because it was too cold. All right. And after he returned, he said that, again, he was going to go to England and he was going to study landscape painting because you need to study that. You can't just go out. see a landscape and go, hey, I'm going to paint that. No, it must be studied. So he leaves once again, but he doesn't go to England. He goes to Philadelphia, which that's a problem. They've already got enough people there. I have to imagine they did back in the 1800s as well. Why did he do that and not go to England? I hear you cry out. Well, very good reason. He told his family that it was because unnamed people in the U.S. government had prevented him from going to England because they disapproved of his plan. He then claimed that while he was in Philadelphia, he read a lot of newspaper articles that were critical of his travel plans and his character, although none of those things exist. So, yeah. So he told his family he had to return to Washington until he could afford to buy a ship and hire a captain who would then sail him to England on his own. Which, come on, please. All right, well, we'll get back to our good friend Richard Lawrence after I go over these comments here that you have. Julie Z says, Andrew Jackson had significantly increased the size of the United States, one of our most important presidents. People saying hi. Those little rascals, yeah, those little rascals, challenging British officers and getting cleaved open with a sword. Chris Cheshire, always good to see you. Andrew Jackson, born in North Carolina. There you go. Richard, not Dick. He was a no-good son of a gun. The guy was a real jerk, from what I understand. He was the first president to open the White House after taking the oath and pretty much trashed the place. Well, they had to build the White House first. The early presidents didn't have the White House. And he also is responsible for the giant block of cheese. You know about the giant block of cheese, right? Somebody donated this just immense, ton of cheese, a big wheel of cheese. And it was so big that he opened the White House and allowed people to just take as much of the cheese as they wanted. And that particular event has spawned what they call Wheel of Cheese Day in West Wing, where, and other administrations, I assume, where people that normally don't have a voice and access to the president are allowed to come in and give them their weird theories on the country and how it should be run. Doopadoopadoo says, Richard Lawrence, loony or narcissist? Both? I'd go for both. People saying hi to Chris Cheshire. People saying hi to Chris Cheshire, and he deserves a hi. It's a fine addition to the show, and we very warmly welcome him to our band of 40 or so people. Anyway, around this time, Lawrence does the unthinkable, and he quits his house painting job. No word as to whether he collapsed through the steps of his home and knocked himself out before he did this, but when questioned by his sister and his brother-in-law about this, and he was living with his sister and his brother-in-law, by the way, he claimed that because the U.S. government owned him a large sum of money, he didn't need to work. And he had a really sound basis for the fact that the U.S. government owed him a lot of money. And that was Richard III of England. You know that guy? Richard Lawrence now claimed he was Richard III of England and that he owned 2 English estates and was convinced that President Andrew Jackson's opposition to the Second Bank of the United States was preventing distribution of the money he believed he was owed. So it's all Andrew Jackson's fault. Now, does this guy look like somebody that would not let you have the money? Look at that. That is suave. He's got Bob Euchre's haircut. He's looking good there in the room that he's in with the papers and the pen and all that. So Richard Lawrence decided that if Andrew Jackson wasn't in office anymore, President Martin Van Buren would establish a national bank and allow Congress to pay him the money for his 2 English estates, because he was, after all, Richard III. Not only his personality changed drastically around this time, his outward appearance also changed. He was once a very conservative dresser. He grew a mustache and started buying very flamboyant clothing, which he would change 3 or 4 times a day. You know, like we all do. He started standing in the doorway of his home for hours and gazing out into the street. The neighborhood kids, you know, the neighbor kids aren't very nice. The neighbor kids are always up to something, and they would jokingly address him as King Richard. Yeah, King Richard, which couldn't have helped. You know, you might imagine that he wouldn't like this and it would drive him crazy. No. He actually was pleased by this, being called King Richard by the neighbor kids, because he didn't understand that they were making fun of him. Although making fun of him, not the greatest thing to do, because he was paranoid and hostile toward other people. This one time at band camp, it wasn't at band camp, it was just this one time, he threatened to kill a maid that he thought was laughing at him. He also began verbally and physically abusing his family, mainly his sisters, because he was a real jerk over imagined insults and slights. This one time, he threatened to hit his sister with a paperweight because he thought she'd been talking about him. At his subsequent trial, witnesses described this weird behavior that he was displaying for the world. Several people said that he would engage in nonsensical conversations with himself. And other people said that he would suddenly have these laughing and or cursing fits out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. So, what's he start doing? Well, I'll tell you what he starts doing. He starts to basically stalk Andrew Jackson, chronicling his movements. Witnesses later testified that Lawrence was often seen sitting in his paint shop, muttering to himself about Jackson, probably getting high off of all those fumes of the barium and the antimony and the sulfides, and of course, the lead. Let's not forget the lead. On Friday, January 30th, 1835, which was the day of the assassination attempt, Richard Lawrence was seen sitting in his paint shop with a book in his hand while laughing uncontrollably. But don't worry. He didn't keep doing that. He suddenly got up and stated, "I'll be damned if I don't do it." I'll be damned if I don't do it. Well, as luck would have it, later on that same day, President Andrew Jackson was attending the funeral of South Carolina Representative Warren R. Davis, which was taking place at the U.S. Capitol. Lawrence originally was going to shoot Jackson as he entered the service, but he couldn't get close enough to him. But by the time Jackson was leaving the funeral, which is the best time to... Anyway, he had found a space near a pillow on the east portico. For those of you who enjoy the porticos of the Capitol building. And that's where Jackson was going to be passing by. As Jackson walked by, Lawrence, because he was such a classy dude, he stepped out and fired his first pistol at Jackson's back, which is classy, isn't it? But it misfired. It was later determined that the weapons he'd chosen were noted for being very vulnerable to moisture, and the weather on that particular day was humid and damp with a chance of assassination. His unsuccessful attempts were noticed by Jackson because he's keep trying to fire the pistol. And he had 2 pistols, by the way, both of which misfired. Jackson noticed this. And, Andrew Jackson, did I mention this right here? And did I mention that he was a noted, general? And back those days, generals would get on their horse with their sword or whatever and go down and do fighting. He was a fighter. He fought people. He was noted for fighting people. His nickname was Old Hickory. He was a tough son of a gun, as the Wolf would say. And, well, he proceeded to be severely, not casually, but severely beat Richard Lawrence with his cane. I mean, he beat him black and blue with his cane. Just beat him like a rented mule. The crowd, which included U.S. Representative Davy Crockett, eventually intervened after a good shellacking of Richard Lawrence and wrestled Lawrence into submission. So thus, Richard Lawrence became the first person to attempt to kill a sitting U.S. president. He was brought to trial not long after, on April 11th, 1835, at the District of Columbia City Hall. You know who the prosecuting attorney was for this particular case? The prosecutor? The one that was going to, put Richard Lawrence in the hoosgow? It was a guy by the name of Francis Scott Key, yes, author of the Star-Spangled Banner. Now, at his trial, Lawrence was prone to wild rants and absolutely rejected and refused to recognize the legitimacy of the proceedings. At one point, he said to the courtroom, "Is it for me, gentlemen, to pass judgment on you and not you upon me?" After only 5 minutes of deliberation, the jury found Lawrence not guilty by reason of insanity. However, in the years following his acquittal, Richard Lawrence was held by several institutions and hospitals. Yes. In 1855, 20 years later, he was committed to the newly opened government hospital for the insane, now known as St. Elizabeth's Hospital, but at the time it was known as the Government Hospital for the Insane, where he remained until his death on June 13th, 1861. Of course, like all assassinations, every single doggone one of them, there was speculation that Lawrence was part of a conspiracy. Now, nobody denied his involvement. You really couldn't. Why? Well, when you are beaten severely in front of a funeral recession, in front of Davy Crockett, yeah, you're caught. You're caught red-handed. But many people, including Andrew Jackson, believed he might have been supported or urged to carry out the attempt by the president's political enemies. U.S. Senator and Jackson's former vice president, John C. Calhoun, made a statement on the Senate floor that he was not connected to the attack. However, Jackson believed that Calhoun, an old enemy, was at the bottom of the attempt. Jackson suspected a former friend and supporter, Senator George Poindexter of Mississippi, who had used Lawrence to do some house painting a few months earlier. Because Poindexter was unable to convince his supporters in Mississippi that he was not involved in a plot against Jackson. He was defeated in his re-election, but no evidence was ever discovered that connected Lawrence with either Calhoun or Poindexter in a plot to kill Andrew Jackson. Let's get to some of your comments with... by the way, I'd like to mention there are a few people who I believe could have stopped this assassination attempt. If you look into the historical records, Maxwell Smart, Tom Gulley could have stopped it, of course. Columbo, without question, he could have stopped it. No question about that. And Sherlock Holmes, Tom Gulley, also could have stopped this tragic event. I really like this picture. This is suave. That's a man about town right there. Okay. Let's see here. People saying hi. The Wolf says that's what they mean by cut the cheese. Of course. That's an impressive portrait. It is. People saying hi. The neighborhood kids in Carmel are not very polite. Hey, mister, you take that back. You'd be impolite too if your girls' swimming team had just won its 39th state championship in a row. That's right, 39 straight years of state championshiping in girls swimming. We win everything else, but just not 39 years in a row. Justin Caesar says, too much lead paint, mad as a hatter, which is where that term comes from. Good call, Julian Caesar. Captain Stoned Crab says, how do they know they were nonsensical if he wasn't talking to anyone? Well, I think you just answered your own question there. The Wolf says, Julian, Lark and Poe has a song about being mad as a hatter. Thanks, I'll check it out. He loved lead. Beat him like a red-headed stepchild. Funky Bronco is announcing that A, he is here, and B, he is drunken. Yes. The Wolf says, wasn't Davy Crockett the king of the wild frontier? I think he was Fess Parker. I think that's who he was. Funky Bronco, as usual, expressing his love for the Wolf. The Wolf, as usual, tolerating him back with a greeting. Wolf says he was easy to keep fed. They just gave him lead paint, a big bowl of lead paint soup every day. There we go. I love the Crazy Cajun. His lady friend is in town. He might not be here. And more inebriation. And fun Kentucky bro. What's up? Yes. So. That's really all I have to tell you about the attempted assassination on the life of President Andrew Jackson. Yes, he will beat you with his cane. By the way, if you can see Richard Lawrence there attempting to fire his pistol, he did dress rather extravagantly, didn't he? I mean, of course, there's a couple of other guys, but boy, that's a flowing cloak he's got working there. That's quite a piece of work he's got. Anyway, that's all I have to tell you about the attempted assassination on the life of President Andrew Jackson, which I don't recommend, by the way, because he will beat you with a cane. Ronald Reagan never beat anyone with a cane. Harry Truman didn't beat anybody with a cane. You run the risk of being beaten with a cane. I don't know how many of you have been beaten, but one of the worst ways is with a cane. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things. They don't cost you a cent to support the program here and help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. Plus, we do have super chats and we do have memberships. Not today, apparently, but we do have them available for you if you would like to support the program, help us pay the bills around here. And then lastly, gifted memberships there at the bottom. Check those babies out if you get the chance. Open your gifted memberships. Maybe somebody will gift you one. You know, who knows? After the Love Boat show didn't do that well, I just figured, hey, I know what'll do well. Andrew Jackson news. That'll pack the house. That'll do it for you. Mm-hmm. That'll make you and the kids squeal with glee. Just squeal. There'll be a lot of squealing going on. Yeah. I'm waiting for something to happen here real quick, and then I'm going to announce the thing. And boy, then the show is just going to skyrocket with better content. Not that the first assassination of a sitting U.S. president, attempt anyway, is, by the way, many of the accounts of Richard Lawrence that I researched for this, they say Richard Lawrence, and I thought this was hilarious because more than one source did this. Richard Lawrence, and then in parentheses, failed assassin. Oh boy, maybe he thought Richard was the wolf man. Yes, the silver handle of his cane might have thwarted the wolf man, the loup-garou. Okay. Phone lines are open, 972-994-6822. Numbers in the crawl if you'd like to call in. The phone lines are wide open. Wide open. Andrew Jackson, there's a lot of portraits of him, and some of them are very, very good. One of them was by Rembrandt himself. However, there's a very unfortunate, and I chose not to show it because I figured the guy almost got killed. Somebody tried to kill him on the steps of the Capitol near that portico. So I didn't show it. I could have, but I didn't because I'm classy that way. It would have resulted in much higher ratings. But I that's not how I roll. He has an unfortunate daguerreotype or early photograph of him, which is him in his very elderly years, and he looks horrible. He looks like he combed his hair with a brick, and it's just terrible. It's a terrible photo. It's not what we would like to call a good likeness at all. It's not good at all. It's horrifying, as a matter of fact. Totally horrifying. Rembrandt was way earlier. Way earlier than what, is my question to you. Don't make me, okay. All right. No, I got a lot of work to do here. But I'll do it. I'll show the picture. I didn't want to. Believe me, I didn't want to. But you forced me to. Now I'm going to have to. And you're just going to have to deal with it. Where is that photo? Because it's horrible. And by the way, he was such a famous general. There's a bunch of really good paintings of him. Which one was by Rembrandt? Was this the Rembrandt one? That's Thomas Sully. Not Thomas Gulley, but Thomas. Oh, yeah. This one here is by Rembrandt. This is the picture of Rembrandt right here. I'll go ahead and show it to you. Let me share that real quick. That's the picture of the Rembrandt fella. Right there. There you go. I'll even make it on the big screen if you want. There's the picture of Rembrandt, that Rembrandted of him. There you are. Is that good enough? Did I satisfy you? But let me get the awful picture up here. Let me get the awful, awful picture. This is only one word to describe it, and that is awful. It's horrifying. It's very bad. Very, very bad. Let me find it real fast. Well, there's another really good painting. He had a lot of good paintings of him. A lot. Come on. Yeah, this is what we're looking for right there. Yeah, that's just not good. It's like you're at a nursing home. Really, it's bad. It's really bad. There you go. There's my guy right there. Look at that. I'm going to do something I shouldn't do and put it full screen. Yeah. That's not the best likeness. But does it not look like a guy like you'd be at the family reunion and somebody'd go, Grandpa once beat a guy almost to death with his cane. Yeah, I think it looks like that guy. Dude, you were the president. Buy a comb, for crying out loud. For the love of Mike, buy a comb, would you? Do us all a favor. Rembrandt was way earlier. Rembrandt was like 16. See, you're going to make me go back again. For the love of God. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, boy. Now it's taking a long time. What a bunch of hooey. It's taking longer than it should. Let me see if I've got any comments I can read in the meantime. What was Rembrandt? Peel, but okay. The head of hair is legendary. I mean, Brill cream, little dabble do ya. Brill cream, you look so debonair. Brill cream, gals will all pursue ya. They love to run their fingers. Yeah, Rembrandt Peel. Yeah, Rembrandt Peel. Didn't say the Rembrandt. Crying out loud. Hey, Captain Stone Crab, thank you so much. He killed many an Andrew Jackson at the bar, and a few Ben Franklins, too. Am I right? Captain Stone Crab, thank you so much for the donation. And, of course, for that, you will receive the point. That's right, the most highly sought-after honor here on the Tom Gulley Show. Captain Stone Crab, you have just received the point. And I'm telling you what, I'm going to give it to you without banner and without super. You get what we call the full point. Thank you so much for the $4.99. I very much appreciate it. You don't even know how much, because we've been stinking up the joint on this show for a little while now. Well, not technically. I haven't. It's the same crappy show as always, but we were on a roll there, man. Even John Daner got over a certain amount of views. But the last 3 or 4 here is just... Wolf says, wow, he sure is a dapper fellow. Really is. He's quite the man about town, wasn't he? Beating people senseless with his cane. Mentally disturbed people. I wonder if anybody exclaimed, that vagabond smells like lead and sulfides. I don't know. I'm just trying to street it up for the kids here tonight on the show. 972. Oh, I better put the banner back up. 972-994-6822. Well, why don't I just do this? There we go. We'll do that. You guys know there's super chats. You know there's memberships. You know you should turn them on. You know, why belabor the point? Why even belabor the point? Incidentally, since we were talking about the weather earlier and humidity, I love it when YouTube tells me my show is on. Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate that more than you'll ever know. The weather here where I live right now, it's 32 degrees. 32 degrees. Okay. And it is in just a... 32 degrees. It's going to be 18 degrees in the morning, like at 8 a.m. So we're going to experience a drop. What do we got here? It's almost 8. Yeah, it's going to drop 5 degrees in the next 2 hours. We're going to get really cold. For Dallas, that's really cold. So that's why I have a sweatshirt on again. Yeah. Doc says... Hey, and I missed the show. No, we've still got 20 minutes left, Doc Torn. Is your lady still in town? Because if she is, you should be attending to all of her needs, if you know what I mean. That's a euphemism. It's a euphemism. The Wolf says, it's the point of power. Now you will have quick feet, be explosive, and be a speed merchant. It's true, Captain Stonecrab. Now that you've gotten the point of power... You will have quick feet, you will be explosive, and you will be a speed merchant and a real stick of dynamite. Those are the things that you will be. I'm still upset that Brad won't talk to us. Anyway, Doc said, sadly, she is in Vegas for business. Girls on business. Why didn't you go with her to Vegas? You guys could have had a heck of a time in Vegas. Maybe gotten married, huh? Little Vegas wedding. I'd say get her good and liquored up, but she's with child, so you couldn't do that. But you could get her over-oxygenated with that casino air that they over-oxygenate, so you're really alert and stuff. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. And I mean cheerful even in the face of Andrew Jackson beating someone with a cane. Julian Caesar says nobody tried to assassinate Franklin, but he did try to electrocute himself. Yes, he invented the lightning rod. Invented a lot of things. But he was never president. So, even if they had, it wouldn't count. Was it Daniel Clay that beat a man horribly on the Senate floor? I'm pretty sure it might have been. The senator who is most famously known for beating someone with a cane is Preston Brooks, who attacked Senator Charles Sumner on the Senate floor with a cane in retaliation for a speech Sumner gave criticizing slavery. This event is known as the caning of Senator Charles Sumner. Well, of course it's known as that. Of course it's known as that. Preston Brooks, of course, a pro-slavery guy from South Carolina. And by golly, that, things haven't changed that much in the ensuing years, have they? Here you go. Let me show you this one. There you go. You'll enjoy this one. Since we're kind of veering off into famous beatings with canes in American history, check that baby out. Yes, Southern chivalry, argument versus clubs. You can even see Sumner's head there. It's got a little bit of beaten marks on it. Look in the background, everybody else yelling and cheering and laughing in some cases. Look at these guys leering and laughing. But I say that's totally uncalled for. That's not cricket. I'd say it's absolutely not cricket. Yes, if you look over here, he's got his beating marks on his forehead. This gentleman here is having a little too much fun. This man here is going, that's poor form. This man here laughing like a fool, even though he's going bald. This guy looking up to the heavens, please stop it. This guy's like, hey, don't hit me. This other dude's maybe threatening to hit him with a cane. You never know. You never really know, do you? I don't ever know. I don't know what the hell's going on there. There's a lot of beatings with canes and such. It's pretty common in other countries, but Sumner was an abolitionist Republican from Massachusetts, by the way. And he apparently had given a very insulting speech about slavery 2 days earlier and criticized slaveholders, including the other senator from South Carolina, Andrew Butler, who's a relative of Brooks. The beating nearly killed Sumner and contributed significantly to the country's polarization over the issue of slavery, and it's been considered a symbolic breakdown of reasoned discourse and willingness to resort to the violence that subsequently led to the Civil War. Yes. Actually, I misspoke. The Senator Albert Brooks was a senator, of course, and Preston Brooks was merely Andrew Butler, sorry. He was a relative, but he was only a member of the House of Representatives. So Sumner couldn't even return to the Senate until 1859. And the Massachusetts legislature refused to replace him, so there was an empty desk there for a certain amount of time. So this here is Preston Brooks. He's the caner, as we like to say. This guy's the caner. Here you go. He's the caner. And the canee, I'll show you in a second. So this is Preston Brooks, who there is the look about of a man who would pick up a cane and strike another man. Doesn't even walk through striking him about the head and neck with a cane. Send him to the infirmary, as you will. You know, yes, of course, yes. And this is Charles Sumner. I'm going to assume this is maybe before the attack. I don't know. It's hard to say, really. Who knows whether it's before or after? I'm going to assume it's before by the looks of that illustration. Check him out. Now, unfortunate skin, yes, of course. Who among us can deny that? Who among us can just deny the unfortunate skin of Charles Sumner? But I don't see any particular scarring or anything like that. But anyway, so there are those two fine gentlemen from our nation's past. And now we have comments. People saying aye. People saying aye. Nobody tried to assassinate Franklin. I already covered that. The Wolf says no, because everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Julian Caesar says, ever see those South Korean politicians who always get into fights in their legislative chamber? It's like a thing they have to do over there to prove their commitment to lawmaking. Yeah, there's all sorts of countries where it's common to go fisticuffs. Doctrine says, I don't need to give her a drink, just that look. You know, he's got that look. Just give her the come hither look. Is that it? What are we up to? We were the size of an avocado seed. What are we now? Like the size of a Texas Junior bacon cheeseburger at Jack in the Box. Hey, by the way, the Monterey Melt is back at Whataburger, but I'm not leaving the house until Thursday when it gets warm again. Otherwise, I would get one. Oh, you use the Cajun accent. Yeah, I've seen The Big Easy, the movie The Big Easy with Dennis Quaid and Ellen Barkin. And yeah, that accent, which Dennis Quaid's Cajun accent shifts substantially throughout the film. But whatever. He's close to the size of a baseball. Wow. All right. Baseball sized. Here, let me show a picture of a baseball. No, I don't need to do that. You guys know how big a baseball is. I love how we have to compare the size of Doc Torn's impending offspring with various items from around the house. That's always fun. About the size of a softball, about the size of a paperweight, about the size of a cheese ball. 972-994-6822. You know, you can call or not. We're getting so close to the end of the show. What's it even matter? That's a cool job. Accent coach. Oh, yeah. A very good job. There's actually some YouTube videos where people analyze accents from movies and other things, and they're very fascinating. Doc Torn says, if I press in her belly, I can feel them. Her belly. If I press on her belly. It's kind of Scottish. In my belly. What movie? Okay, get in my belly. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's pageant of old guys beating other guys with a cane. Personally, I think the Andrew Jackson beating with a cane was justified. I think the other one was kind of a sticks and stones, you know, it just wasn't called for. The spy who shagged me. You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir. Get in my belly. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm just about to close these phone lines down. I don't know what tomorrow's show is going to be about. I don't know if there should be a show tomorrow, but I know I'll be cooped up in the house, so I'll do a show. But should there be one? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. Normally, we have a lot more to tell you on one of these programs about the subject at hand for the day. But in this case, we had a crazy guy who a little too much paint fumes and not that good with firearms of the time. But, those musket pistols seem a little unreliable to me. And then beaten with a cane by a president of the United States, which I guess maybe in the mental institution was good for some street cred, yeah. See that right there? Yeah, beaten with a cane by the president. Right here, beaten with a cane. Oh, beaten with a cane, that sounds dreadful. No, by the president. Oh, president. Well, good show. Well done. I was beaten by a cane by just a man in public. I mean, that used to be a thing to do. It was just a caning. I'll give you a right thrashing with this cane that I carry. Oh, were you injured in the war? No, I just use a cane just as kind of accoutrement, like a scarf or a hat or a pair of gloves. I just have a cane. Carrying around a cane like Barnabas Collins, a cane. Wonder if I have a Barnabas Collins cane photo handy. We'll see. Pretty darn quick. Let's see here. Unless I got rid of all the... Oh, doggone it. I got rid of all the... Well, let me see here. Let me see. I always try to do a little extra production during the show because it's so much fun. And let's see if I can find... Because I think that's the only show with a cane that I've done recently. A lot of shows without canes, but let's see if I can find one with a cane. I don't know. Maybe I should get a cane. I would do it if I thought there was going to be more people watching the show. God's sakes, I would definitely. Let me see. Is this one? Let me see. Let's see if this is one. Come on. Well, that is one. Let's see if I have a better one. But I do have one. Fear not. You will soon be looking at a cane. A vampire with a cane. Because vampires need canes. I thought I had a better cane than this cane. It's come to this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now searching for pictures of vampires with canes. Oh, there's Laura Parker as Angelique with her various attributes on display. She was Angelique. Oh, there's a better picture of a cane right there. What is that? I'm going to keep searching, though. I'm going to find you the best picture of a cane that I possibly can muster. Because you deserve it. Wow, that's another good picture of a cane. I think the first one was better. I'm going to show you both pictures of the cane that I have, though. Why skimp? Oh, that's the best one so far. There you go. Only one more to check. And then we're going to get caned up here really quickly. Okay, that's certainly not the... Let's see here. Okay, here you go. Bam. And hopefully it'll just put it on the screen against my wishes. No, it didn't. Well, there you go. There. How about that? How about that? That's not the one that I was hoping for. Well, there's you get a little cane there. You get a touch of cane. Daggone it. Now we got to do that, do this. And This show just continues to be a vexation on my spirit. Oh, here we go. I think this is the really good cane picture that I have in mind for you all tonight on the program. Let's see. That's some pretty good cane right there. Really is. Now I gotta find the other picture of a cane. Get rid of the old picture of a cane. Thanks, StreamYard. I should be able to access all of these pictures. They should actually always be stored for my perusal, but they're not. You know why? Those guys are a bunch of jerks. Just a bunch of jerks. Okay, let's see if this is the really good cane picture. Come on now. Now, there we go. Look at that. Now we're brandishing a cane. He's showing off the whole cane. That's top quality cane there. That's some fine cane. The Wolf says, I've been looking for a cane for years. Lon Chaney had one when he played Count Alucard, which I think he did on more than one occasion. Larry Talbot had the best cane, Wolfman. Yeah, it's a very fine cane. It's an extremely storied and legendary cane. All right. Has everybody gotten enough of the cane? Please. I'm going to get rid of that. Oh, I might as well delete it. Yes, and welcome, Gilman. Nice to see you. Come for the attempted assassination. Stay for the cane. Gilman's here. Wolf saying hi. Most cheerful chat room on the internet is verified by independent sources. Phone lines are now closed. Completely unmolested on tonight's show. Completely unused. Not disturbed. Remaining inviolate in their auto cocoon. Julian Zeezer, it's always a font of extremely useful information, says they make some really good canes, swords in South Africa. Might still be able to import them, too. Hey, imported cane swords. Ask for them by name. Hey, guys. People saying that. All right. Hey, it's been a blast here this evening, as usual. Tomorrow night's show, I don't know. And it's really sad because I have here, look at all the potential topics I have. Look at them all. Look at them. They boggle the mind. Look at all these. Look at all these. Look at all these. I got so many potential topics, and I look at them, and I just go, nah, I don't know. I mean, once you do haggis, everything else is downhill after that. So anyway, I'll do a show. There'll be a show. What's it going to be about? I don't know. Canes, perhaps? I'll have to check into it. Anyway, I hope everybody stays warm. I think a lot of the country will be in a deep freeze tomorrow. So please try and stay warm. Tomorrow will, of course, be hump day. So try to stay warm for your hump day. But with all of that being said, and there's been a lot said here this evening, you know, things were said. Oh, people saying hi. Oh, yes, and a special thank you to our contributor tonight, Captain Stonecrab, and his $4.99. I'm going to give him the point again, just because I'm so thankful. Anyway, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall, and well, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get on up out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. It's 84 here now, says Captain Stonecrab. Well, it was warm here earlier today, but it's just not gonna be. It's not gonna be. Gilman says, how about an Angry Tom episode? I don't like to have those. Those normally involve me being mad at someone. But if you, I mean, it's conceivable I could do a show about things that I'm cranky about. That show is best done right after I get done shopping at Walmart. The Wolf says, so much to learn we couldn't possibly watch. Beer so good and plentiful, you just couldn't drink it. You just couldn't. Anyway, with all that being said, whoa. Thanks to all. Thanks, Tom G. Stay warm and comfortable, everyone. 21 degrees here. Thanks, Stone Crab. I'll check out Larkin Poe, Wolf. Oh, yes, he's a very big fan of Larkin Poe. I could do Edgar Allan Poe. There's a story. Yeesh. Maybe I should. It'll be about something. With all that being said, the only thing left to say is, till next time, I hope you don't get beaten with a cane, and we'll see you next time.